Hmm. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين لا قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. We are discussing the questions and answers about moon sighting and about Arafat, Muzdalifah. And I think there is ruling number 13. Some of our participants, they mentioned that I said something and then I fixed it without realizing that. That's why when I repeat, I just want to make sure that the text is grasped. So we are not here to do literal translate. The translation. We're trying to understand the text as it is. So I guess, yeah, it was in 13. I said that Sayyidi Sistani argued the evidences and proved that it is permissible for them, according to the evidences, argued that it is permissible. But however, this is on the theoretical level. On the practical level of fatwa, no. Sayyid Sistani uses obligatory precaution that it is not sufficient if there was a doubt or certainty that the moon has not been sighted, or there is no confirmation about the entrance of the month, and it conflicts. Either it conflicts on the basis of probability from whatever was declared by the authority, or it conflicts based on certainty with whatever was declared by the authority or the fiqh of the authority. Yeah. That kind of so Sayyid Sistan says it's obligatory precaution. Sayyid Al-Khouei says if there was a probability, then it's okay. But if there was a certainty that there is a variances, then it is not okay. Then the Hajj is not valid. Also, in this issue, we said that if there is a variances, Sayyid Al-Khouei was the one who says if there was a probability of confirmation with the not certainty, probability, that is enough. That was Al-Khouei. Some Maraja, they said it is Islamic unity, it is okay. Just do the Hajj with them. Some Maraja, they say it is based on the fear you're going to go to Arafat back again and it's going to be threatening for you. So based on taqiyya, your Hajj will be okay. Though you are into Eid Dhul Hajj, Arafat, it will. So there are variances. So the question was that in question 13 والسؤال هو هل أن سماحتكم تفتون بفساد الحج في السورتين. Do your eminence give the decree of the invalidity of the Hajj in both cases, case of probability and case of assurance of the like probability. There's a probability that there is a difference in the entrance of the month between the religious criteria and the declaration of the authority based on the school of companion. And the other scenario is yaqinan. That was Sayyid al-Khoui's opinion. So yaqinan, no. Probability, yes. So he says in both cases, you are saying that the Hajj is invalid. Okay. Or you are giving a precautionary measure that Hajj is invalid in both cases based on the obligatory precaution, that means refer to some other. We understood from the ruling that is an obligatory precaution. Because the reason he's asking that is a fatwa, because in your lectures, jurisprudential lectures and arguments, you argued against the evidences of those who said it's valid. Okay, so this is how the question is, word by word. So I guess before I said otherwise, argument of those who said it's invalid and you said it's valid. No, but the sentence is like this, because say the Sistani does not consider the validity. So if I might have missaid it, okay, then I was told that after that I did exactly the way I said it now. So what is the whole thing now? Let me say it in my words. Say the Sistani Damadullah has obligatory precaution that Hajj is not valid based on the obligatory precaution, regardless of there is a certainty of variation of moon sighting issue or probability. So the questioner says, but Sayyidina, in your bahth, in your advanced research, you mention that all these evidences of this taqiyya causes invalidity of the Hajj, that Islamic unity causes invalidity of the Hajj, probable causing, you need to have certainty. So all these cases, and you rebutted, you argued against them. So Sayyidina, when you argued against them, doesn't it mean that you don't have any evidence and what you say about the Hajj being invalid should be fatwa? But you have given obligatory precaution. So he says, in my words again, he says that theoretical level, in theoretical level, all the evidences, supportive evidences which were used to support Hajj of Taqiyya, Hajj of Islamic unity, Hajj on the probability of moon sighting, all these are, I have refuted it and argued against it. So therefore, however, on the fatwa level, I don't want to give fatwa, okay, based on lack of evidences. And I don't want to even say the Hajj is invalid, because this is what I understood. Okay, say this is from the evidences, but maybe there's a probability they might have been correct, because this is hukum zahiri, and hukum zahiri, the maraja cannot swear on the Quran and say, he can say, by God, I swear that this is what is in accordance to the real law in the knowledge of Allah. They cannot say, because this is what appears to them apparently from the evidences. So this is what appeared. But that means still there's a possibility of Sayyid al-Khoei's opinion, of the Taqiyya opinion, of the Islamic unity opinion. They have also evidences. It is Sayyid al-Sistani, he argued against it, but doesn't mean that they do not have any strong base for that. Okay? Maybe someone will come and he will argue Sayyid al-Sistani and against his stance. So that's why he cannot say decisively on a fatwa level, on a practical level. He says, I don't want to give fatwa. So what he's doing actually is abstaining. When he says, when he plugs it with obligatory precaution, he's abstaining from giving fatwa. He says, I don't want to say anything with this. Just refer to some other marja. If you want to do precautionary measure, be it probable accordance or be it probable variances in the moon sighting issue or certainty, in both cases, I'm abstaining. So he is avoiding from giving fatwa. When he says ihtiyat wajib, is telling the people, follow someone else. Don't follow me in this. If you follow me in this, every year you'll have to do Hajj, be it certainty or be it probability. It doesn't help. You have to have certainty that the moon sighting happened, or the moon was in a sightable condition in the sky of Makkah, or before that it was sighted, and the criteria of moon sighting. So this is number one. We just wanted to confirm that yes, what I said later on was the correct thing. Maybe I have accidentally said that he argued against the evidences of those who say it's taqiyya and those kind of things. Those who do not accept those, but this is the right wording of the sentence. Okay, that's number one. Number two, from question 16, okay, and 17, this it was about Sayyid al-Khouy. So we reached question 21, and there was a technical thing. I did not want to go into detail because our time was done. So I left it for now. So before we go into these questions from 21 and upcoming, need to just point out one thing that where was the sentence? Yeah, 21. Let's do the 21 back again. So before I tell you what is in 21, I want you to understand a concept. When Sayyidi Sistani says obligatory precaution, it is not sufficient if there is no certainty about the moon sighting or the existence of the moon in the sky of Makkah in a way it can be sighted by the people of earth, or the criteria. If it was not according to the religious criteria which I have defined, say this Sistani is defined criteria, okay? Then you have to refer where? To another marja. Now here comes the technical point. Please focus here. So Sayyidina, who should we refer to? Okay? Who should we refer to in this mas'ala? Who says that it is sufficient? He says you can refer only to those who has the ruling like my ruling in moon sighting, but allows you to do in taqiyya or in unity or whatever. But his fatwa needs to be on moon sighting according to mine. What does that mean? I'll give you an example. Sheikh Wa'id al-Khurasani's fatwa is like Sayyid al-Khouei or X from the Maraja. And they say if taqiyya, like Sayyid Muhammad Sa'id al-Hakim, he says Hajj taqiyatan is okay. Okay. So, but his moon sighting ruling is different than moon sighting ruling of Sayyid Sistani. It was the continent issue. So if China moon has sighted, it is sufficient for Makkah because it's one continent connected. There's no big vast ocean separating. This was the ruling of Sayyid Muhammad Sa'id al-Hakim. Vast oceans not separating between China and Makkah. The land is all connected. So you used to see the land. As long as the land is one, wherever the moon is sighted is sufficient for the entire land. As it was a unique way of looking at unity of the land. Instead of unity of the horizon, instead of unity of the moon sighting, parameters of the moon, he went on the land. So can Sayyid Sistani follower refer to Sayyid Muhammad Sa'id al-Hakim? He says no. Why? Because the criteria of moon sighting is different. The criteria, if in China they sighted, or let's say they sighted in Moscow, or in France. Europe is connected with Asia, is connected with Makkah. So France is away in the west, or Portugal, because normally Portugal, Spain, they sight the moon because they are close to Mediterranean. So they sighted in Spain. So, but Spain is west of Makkah. And you say this instances you cannot, for Sayyid al-Khouei is okay. For Sayyid al-Hakim is okay because land is one. But it's not according to the criteria of moon sighting of Sayyid Sistani. So in that case, this is the technical thing. If you are going to follow a marja', follow a marja' which has the similar fatwa of Sayyid Sistani, Number one. Number two, he allows the Hajj of Taqiyya or Hajj of Islamic unity, of Hajj of whatever. But Hajj of probability, no. That is Sayyid al-Khui's opinion. Let's say he allows Hajj of probability, but the moon was sighted according to the criteria of Sayyid Sistani. Okay? The moon was sighted in the east. So it befits the criteria of Sayyid Sistani, or in the west. But it was similar, parameters were similar. So therefore, this peculiarity about who to refer to is going to be mentioned in this upcoming masail. So when we say refer to another marja, he says that marja allows, he has the similar method of moonsighting plus, and then he allows the taqiyya. So he says that the parameters should be same, and he says the sharing of the night as well. So both things are there in his ruling, a marja. But at least the parameter, there needs to be some fatwa of that marja which you are going to refer to, similar to fatwa of Sayyid Sistani Damadullah. And then you have this taqiyya issue, which Sayyid Sistani says on the basis of obligatory precaution, it is not sufficient, neither taqiyya, neither Islamic unity. So if some marja has this kind of thing, then yeah. So this is what he says in ruling number 21. The whole thing is there's a lot of repetition. Okay. So فما هي وظيفته في مثل هذه الحالة في احتمال الموافقة. So he says there is a possibility of accordance with the authority being declared according to Sayyid al-Khui, for example. Okay. So can someone refer to that marja? Can someone refer to that marja who has similar fatwa of Sayyid al-Khui, and his moonsighting is based on the possibility? He says, Sayyid Sistan Jawab. He says, the precautionary measure is in the certainty of the yeah. So Sayyid Sistani says that the precautionary measure, is not only in probability. He has a precautionary measure in the probable variances and the certain variances. Okay. Sayyid al-Khui allows probable variances, but certain variances doesn't allow. So he says the ruling of Sayyid Sistani is inclusive to both. And people can refer to another jurist, فقيه آخر, يشترك معه في القول باختلاف الآفاق. Okay, so these people, they can only refer to a marja who has similar fatwa with Sayyid Sistani. However, he allows the taqiyya hajj or the Islamic unity hajj. So the criteria of the marja you are going to refer to, this is question number 21, okay, should be same like Sayyid Sistani. However, in addition to that, he allows the sufficiency of hajj, of taqiyya, or hajj of Islamic unity or whatever. معه باختلاف الآفاق, variety of horizon. Say the Sistani's horizons are not, it's not one horizon. Horizons are different. And he cannot take the fatwa of Sayyid al-Khoi based on remaining on his taqlid. He's a follower of Sayyid al-Khoi, but he cannot remain, if he wants to refer, he cannot refer to someone who is, because this is ihtiyat of Sayyid Sistani, not ihtiyat of Sayyid al-Khoi. So he says that وَلَيْسَ لَهُ الْأَخْذ بِفَتْوَى السَّيِّدِ الْخُوِي بَقَانْ عَلَى تَقْلِيدِهِ, and he cannot take, if he is going to remain on the taqlid of Sayyid al-Khoi, he cannot remain on his taqlid based on the referring, because he has given fatwa. I'm giving ihtiyat. He's given a verdict. I'm giving a precautionary measure. In precautionary measure, you can refer. If you are staying on the taqlid of Sayyid al-Khoi, you cannot refer to someone who has my fatwa or similar to my fatwa. And then he says, this is what we said, that people, they play game. Referring to علما أن الرجوع عن المتوفي, referring, moving away from a deceased marja, okay, who was a'lam for you, and you're staying on him. So moving away from him only in one ruling with the criteria of being most knowledgeable, it's not correct. It's not correct. I mean, only one, the marja'iyya's package, okay, a'lamiyya's package. However, if they were equal, then you have to do precautionary measures, because you have to do who is most knowledgeable, you don't know. Then you have to do precautionary measure. Then we are back to square zero, doing precaution. Question number 22. If the Hajj is converted to Hajj al-Ifrad, remember previously mentioned, there are certain cases where the Hajj becomes Hajj al-Ifrad. It's no more Hajj al-Tamattu. If going to Arafat في حالة انقلاب وظيفة الحاج إلى حج الإفراد, if going to Arafat on their day of Eid from the beginning of the day, or staying there until the last day, was severely complicated or harmful, okay, severely harmful because of the heat. Sometimes in Hajj in summer really was like very, very difficult. But however, we survived, alhamdulillah. And those who cannot, they are not mustati', they don't have to even go for Hajj in that year, because they have everything except for the fear is their fear of becoming sick. And it's a legit fear, not just a waswas or whispering of the shaitan. So he says, if the Hajj is converted to Hajj al-Ifrad and going to Arafat on their day of Eid, okay, because their day of Eid, most probably, sometimes it might not be the day of Eid according to say the Sistani Damadullah. From the beginning of the time, or to stay there until the end of the time. Harajiyan, it was going to cause a case of difficulty and hardship due to what? Severe heat, fear, and so on. Fear of threat. I mean, the authorities might not like it sometimes, and sometimes they might be respectful. So anyhow, or anything else. So what is the solution in this kind of example? Okay, what is the best solution? To stand from Dhuhr, I mean to stay there from Dhuhr until the sunset. No, before the sunset they can leave, or just to stay a while before sunset. That means they leave Makkah late, they arrive in Arafat half an hour or 10 minutes or 15 minutes before the sunset, and after that they leave. Because it's difficulty. Now the scenario, the hypothesis is there's a case of difficulty. He says staying before the Maghrib, so that the evacuation happens after it is more prior, okay? Because the evacuation needs to be uh, uh, after Maghrib, or at the time of Maghrib. So he says that's more prior. If you have an option to choose the early time or the late time, you cannot stay the whole time, then choose the late time before the Maghrib is more prior. من حيث أنه لو وقف في أول وقت ثم أفاض. Because he says, because if he stays before, it stays in the early time, like on the noon time, and he leaves out of necessity before the Maghrib, then there's a possibility that the kafar of camel will be upon him. Okay, remember the kafar of leaving early is camel, but he did not say camel here, so I'll just keep it wig. So as it is. So so if he so why? So the technicality here is like this. If he leaves, if he takes early portion and he had to leave because of the heat, weather, this and that problem before ghurub, that means there's a possibility he might have to pay penalty. However, if he leaves, if he comes close to the ghurub time, because of the necessity, we said he has to take essential rukun. So the whole time is wajib, but essential is some portion is rukun. So he needs to get the rukun. Which rukun should he, which portion should he take? Should he take the rukun, I mean, should he fulfill the rukun by staying in the first beginning hour or beginning half an hour, or the before the end? He says take before the end, because technically you're not leaving before ghurub. Those who leave before ghurub, they have to pay penalty. If they're under necessity, there's a probability of penalty. So all these penalty things are going to come if you leave before ghurub. But after, but if you leave after ghurub or after sunset, then the penalty will not be there. So technically you bypass the penalty. And also it's a bit cooler than the dhuhr time if the fear was heat. Question number 23. If a person in the state of ihram enters Makkah on the day of Eid, their Eid, which is according to your criteria, is 9th Dhul Hajj. But there was not enough time for him to perform Umrat al-Tamattu' before the Dhuhr. Okay, now إذا تمكن المحرم من دخول مكة يوم العيد. Okay, now I understand. It's not after Hajj. It is pre going to Arafat. This guy arrives in Makkah on the day of 9th. Okay, his flight arrived and he has a very tight, narrow time to perform his Umrah al-Tamattu, to complete it before Dhuhr. So there are two scenarios here. So let's take the question first. If a person who's in the state of ihram was able to enter Makkah on the day of Eid, according to other school, and which is 9th according to your fatwa. Okay, Sayyidina. So he came 9, but he did not have enough time to perform the amal of Umrah al-Tamattu' before Dhuhr. And if he is going to perform the amal of Umrah al-Tamattu' before Dhuhr on the 9th of Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah, then he will be able to reach Arafat, however, before Ghurub. He will miss the Zawal, Dhuhr time, but he will be able to capture the essential, the Rukni stay in Arafat, because Wajib is from noon till sunset. But he will be able to go a little bit later, but leave before after sunset. So he will be able to capture the Rukun at least. So this is the scenario. The question: will his responsibility be to convert the ihram of Hajj al-Tamattu' to Hajj al-Ifrad, or it will be sufficient for him to do his Umrah al-Tamattu' and capture the essential stay in Arafat? You understood? So question number 1 is, for this person, should he change? Because there's no time. The time is tight. If he does his Umrah, he will miss the noon time of Arafat. So should he do his Umrah al-Tamattu' and delay going to Arafat from Dhuhr time? Okay, after Dhuhr arriving there, or no, just change it to Hajj al-Ifrad and then do the Umrah Mufrada later on. No need now to Umrah al-Tamattu'. So in this answer number one, okay, so he says question number, هل تنقلب وظيفته إلى حج الإفراد? Does his responsibility shift to the individual Hajj or Hajj al-Ifrad, not Hajj al-Tamattu? Or it is sufficient for him to perform Amal of Umrat al-Tamattu and just try to grab the essential stay in Arafat? He says his Hajj will be converted to Hajj al-Ifrad and it will be sufficient for him. That means he has to do Umrah al-Mufrada later on, if he has not done it. So that's number one. The segment number two is لو لم يتمكن في هذه الحالة من الوصول إلى العرفات للوقوف الاختياري هل يكفيه الوقوف الاضطراري؟ So let's say he does it, okay? If he was not able to arrive the primary stay, will the secondary stay be sufficient? He says if he completes his Umrat al-Tamattu before the Dhuhr, then the secondary stay will be sufficient for him. فلو لم يتمكن. So if he is not able to arrive on the primary stay, will the secondary stay be sufficient? He says yes, it will be sufficient if he had completed his Umrah al-Tamattu. Question number 24. The question is about somebody representing someone in Hajj. Is it sufficient in the Hajj, which is done in representation on behalf of someone else, to stay in Arafat and Muzdalifah based on the criteria of moon sighting? Okay. Yes, so the question is based on if I'm representing someone in Hajj, is it sufficient for me to just stay with the school of companion and do the stay of Arafat and Muzdalifah with them? Okay. So he says هل يجزي في الحج النيابي الوقوف في عرفات ومزدلفة بحسب ثبوت الهلال شرعا مع ترك متابعة القوم بالوقوف معهم? So the question uh, is it sufficient for someone who's doing Hajj by representation on behalf of someone else to stay in Arafat and Muzdalifah based on the religious moon sighting? That means, for example, the religious moon sighting according to the criteria of Sayyidi Sistani was second day, and the Sunni school of thought, they did it first day. So can I just do I'm doing niyabat. So can I just do my own according to your fatwa and leave following the people, okay, or the school of companion? So you understood the question. So can I do just like my on the real date, or should I do with them? This is the question. He says if he was hired, somebody paid him, that then he needs to perform the Hajj correct. If he does not perform the Hajj correct, he will not deserve the money. He'll be ghasib. So, but based on whose taqlid, my taqlid or their taqlid? The taqlid of the one who hired me. He says, فلا بد من أن يأتي بالعمل صحيحا وفق تقليد المستأجر, the one who hired you, based on his taqlid, okay, not your taqlid. However, he says, many of the jurists do not consider that sufficient. Like many of the jurists, they say if you go against the taqiyya, the Hajj will be invalid. If you go against the Islamic unity, the Hajj will. So they have not just allowed but they have made it semi-obligatory for them to do the Hajj with the Sunni school of thought, or with the moon sighting of the authority. So this is just a true Islamic, to show true solidarity. So he says that وكثيرا من الفقهاء لا يكتفون بما ذكر بما ذكر. So majority, or many of the scholars, they do not suffice with what was mentioned. That we not consider it sufficient. Okay. Because he tried to capture the real date, but some maraja might say, no, you shouldn't have violated. So he says that many of the fuqaha, they don't support this. Finally, question number 25th. Okay, this question is about somebody left Makkah. Somebody left Makkah before the 8th of Dhul Hajj. Okay, that means he needs to come back to Makkah, and he's a follower of Sayyid al-ALKHOEI. Okay, he's a follower of Sayyid al-ALKHOEI. He needs to come back to Makkah before the 8th. And then what happened? He came back to Makkah, but he came in the new areas like Aziziyah and all those, not Makkah al-Qadima, like Jummeza and Aziziyah, and all those are expanded. Not until Masjid al-Jinn, that is the old Makkah from this side. Or the Maqbarat al-Mu'alla, cemetery of Mu'alla. So this is cemetery of Mu'alla, and this Masjid al-Jinn. So this small area is ancient Makkah. So he arrived in New Makkah and entered the place of Ihram and back. So will that be sufficient for him? He's a Sayyid al-ALKHOEI follower. He says, question, Sayyid al-ALKHOEI Qudus Yafti, the Sayyid al-ALKHOEI, may Allah rest his soul in peace, he gave a decree that whoever enters the state of Ihram before Eid al-Hajj and left Makkah for certain issues, certain errands, okay, certain things he need to take care of, certain needs, such as وخرج من مكة كما لو خرج إلى منى, such as some of them, they go to Mina to arrange the tents and animals of sacrifice and a lot of things they need to do. So then he needs to come back to Makkah, and then from Makkah go to Arafat, and he should not suffice by entering the new Makkah. Okay, so where is the question? That means he comes new Makkah? No, he should come in the middle of old Makkah, or in the old Makkah. فهل يمكنه لمقلده في الاكتفاء? So is it permissible that he refers to you? He's a follower of Sayyid al-ALKHOEI, and he first refers to you and comes in because Sayyid SISTANI says whatever expansions of Makkah is Makkah. Sayyid al-ALKHOEI says no, they are out of Makkah. So is it possible for this person who's following Sayyid al-ALKHOEI refers to you and considers this new Makkah as Makkah and enters the state of Ihram from there, or exits from there? Okay. الرجوع والاكتفاء بذلك. Because he was already in the state of Ihram. He left Makkah, entered the state of Ihram on 8th Dhul Hajj. Okay. Such as he went to Mina. So he has to come back to Makkah and then go to Arafat. So he has to be in Makkah before leaving in Arafat. And Sayyid al-ALKHOEI says it's obligatory precaution. It is not sufficient. Okay. No, sorry, this Sayyid SISTANI. يخرج منها إلى عرفات. No, we are talking about the question. The question is Sayyid al-ALKHOEI. لابد أن يرجع إلى مكة ويخرج منها إلى عرفات. And Sayyid Al-Khouei says on the basis of obligatory precaution, it will not be sufficient for him to come to modern Makkah and leave from there, contemporary Makkah or modern Makkah, the new areas of Makkah. So will it be possible for them to, for this person to refer to you, Sayyidina? He says, no, no, don't refer to me. ليس له ذلك. He can't refer to me. However, he can refer to someone who has same ruling of Sayyid al-Khouei. Okay? But he says Makkah is, everything is Makkah. So the technical point here is he cannot refer to someone who says that the Makkah is he cannot refer to me in coming to the new Makkah, but he can refer to some other marja who has similar opinion of Sayyid al-Khouei. So what is the opinion of Sayyid al-Khouei? He has to come back to Makkah and leave from Arafat. He has to come where? Back to Makkah, leave for. Say this, Sistani doesn't, says wherever you are, if the time comes, just go to Arafat from there. Okay? You don't have to come back to Makkah. Sayyid al-Khouei says you have to come back to Makkah. So say this is for me. I can, you don't have to come back to Makkah. You can go direct. So follow a marja who says you have to come back to Makkah. Okay? And that marja differs with Sayyid al-Khouei, and he considered all the modern areas to be Makkah. So, like, refer to a marja who has this fatwa of Sayyid al-Khouei that one has to return to Makkah, and also say that it's not necessary the ancient Makkah. He differs from Sayyid al-Khouei. He has one portion of ruling is similar to Sayyid al-Khouei, come back to Makkah. The second portion differs from Sayyid al-Khouei. Every Makkah is Makkah, whatever modern areas are Makkah. So in that case, so this is question number 25. So he says that the answer of 25 was, no, he cannot refer to me in considering the whole Makkah as a Makkah. But he can refer to those who share Sayyid al-Khouei Quddasa Sirro in this ruling. And the ruling of you have to come back to Makkah. And for him, for this person this marja whom we are going to refer to, for him, old Makkah, new Makkah are all same. Question number 26. Question number 26 says that this is similar. He says that I'll just read the answer because the question is similar. We have repeated. Let's see if there's something new in the answer. لا مجال لأخذ الحكم من فقيه والرجوع إلى حدود موضوعه إلى فقيه آخر. Okay. He says you cannot refer from one marja to another marja in the limits of the ruling. Okay. So limits of the ruling, because say the Sistani has a variety of horizon. That means each horizon has its own moon sighting. So it's limited. Say the Khouei has a broader. So he said you can't just لا مجال لأخذ الحكم من فقيه والرجوع في حدود موضوعه إلى فقيه آخر. You cannot take a ruling from marja. You're following ruling of Sayyid Sistani. And in application, you go to the another rule, another marja. Okay, so the question is that we believe that this year there's going to be a variances in the dates between the Yeah, about the beginning of the month. So if someone was referring to Sayyid al-Khouyi, doing taqleed of Sayyid al-Khouyi Quddus Sirruh, and then he changed to Sayyid Sistani. So segment number one is it obligatory upon him to stay in the time that is based on the religious criteria of Sayyid Sistani, obviously, and and he cannot stay with the school of companion or with those who have difference in the fatwa of Sayyid Sistani, even though after referring to someone else. So he says, نعتقد بأن هناك قطعا بالخلاف. We believe that there is definitely a discrepancy in defining the date of the stay in Arafat and Muzdalifah this year, according to Sayyid Sistani's fatwa. In the beginning for which is to define the beginning of the lunar month. So there is a khilaf, okay, yaqini, which Sayyid al-Khouyi does not allow khilaf yaqini. Certainty, no. Probability, yes. So he says there is a khilaf yaqini. So he's your follower. So if نعتقد بأن هناك قطعا في تحديد الموقف في هذه السنة خلاف okay, so according to your criteria, the moon sighting is going to be different this year, and it's going to be definitely variances, not probable variances. So whoever was follower of Sayyid al-Khouyi Quddus Sirruh, and he changed to taqlid to Sayyid Sistani, will it be obligatory upon him to stay with the religious criterias, okay, religious criterias of Sayyid Sistani, obviously, and it will not be sufficient for him to stay with this school of thought, or with the people, or with all those who disagree with Sayyid Sistani, مع القوم ولو بالرجوع إلى الغير, even by referring to someone else. That is because when he refers to someone else, it is inclusive to the qata'. Like, for example, Sayyid Sistani. Sayyid Sistani is ihtiyat wajib. Okay, so it is inclusive to both probable variances, definite variances. And other maraja who says taqiyya or Islamic unity or whatever reasons, they also have both cases, regardless of having yaqeen or regardless. Is Sayyid al-Khouyi and some of his students, they have this probability of accordance with this Sunni school of thought or not. There's no probability of being accordance with the moon sighting of the school of Sunni of school of companions, Sunni school of thought. So he said that because when he refers to someone else, their ruling is inclusive to both criteria. So your ruling is ihtiyat wajib, their ruling is permissibility. Sayyid al-Khouyi has two directions: permissibility, probability, and certainty. وحكم هذه الصورة احتياطية عند سماحة السيد. And with Sayyid Sistani, this scenario of both certainty and probability is precautionary measure, that it is not sufficient basis on the obligatory precaution. Okay? عند سماحة ومورد فتوى بعدم. And for Sayyid Khouyi قدس سره ومورد فتوى بعدم الإجزاء في الوقوف معه عند سماحة السيد السيستاني فيلزم الأخذ بفتواه. So, and with regards to fatwa of Sayyid al-Khouyi, Okay. Uh, if there is certainty, you cannot rely on that. It will not be sufficient. فيلزمه الأخذ بفتوى. Then he has to fulfill the fatwa of Sayyid al-Khoi. And therefore, he will not be able to fix his Hajj except by staying in Arafat and Muzdalif and the precise day based on the religious criteria. So that is number one. So he says in the number one segment, لا مجال لأخذ الحكم من فقيه والرجوع إلى في حدود موضوع إلى فقيه آخر. You take the ruling from someone else and you take the application from someone else. There is no way you can do that. ففي المقام, and in the scenario you have presented for, he gave a general rule first. Now he's saying ففي المقام. That means in the example, in the scenario presented. Yes, where did it go? ففي المقام لا يصح الأخذ بفتوى السيد الخوئي من عدم الاتزان بالوقوف مع القوم عند القطع بالمخالفة والبناء باختلاف. Okay, so it is not permissible to take the fatwa of Sayyid al-Khoi that the stay will not be sufficient um, where there is a definite or decisive variances in the moon sighting. That means there's a decisiveness, okay, بالقطع بالمخالفة. That means there is a certainty in the opposing of the fatwa. والبناء باختلاف الآفاق, and then you apply on the variety of. So this is the thing. He's following Sayyid al-Khoi. He shifted to Sayyid Sistani for ihtiyat wajib. Now he's going to apply his ihtiyat wajib to those who consider a same ruling but allow taqiyya and unity, Islamic unity. So he's going to jump from A, B, C, from Sayyid al-Khoi to Sayyid Sistani. Why? Because Sayyid al-Khoi has certainty, not sufficient, certain variances between the school of companion and the criteria of school of Ahl al-Bayt. So not sufficient. Based on who? Based on Sayyid al-Khoi. So jumping to Sayyid Sistani. So he says, on the basis of obligatory precaution, certainty and probability, they both are same, not sufficient. But there is obligatory precaution. There's a room. And then you refer to someone else who has the same fatwa of Sayyidi Sistani, Damadullah. However, he allows taqiyya and all the other things. So this is in nutshell what he's trying to say, though the answer is quite like intertangled and intertwined with the words. So let's see. He says there is no way to take the ruling from one marja and then refer in its limits, okay, to another marja. Okay, therefore, it is not permissible to take the fatwa of Sayyid al-Khoi about insufficiency of staying in Arafat and Muzdalifah with them where there is certainty in variances. Done. على كون هذا العام من موارد القطع. Okay. That this, because this year it's certainly certain, there's a certainty this year that because in the beginning they said that we are certain that this year there's going to be definitive variances, okay, like decisive variances, like definitely there will be a variance on the moon sighting of both. من موارد المخالفة بها استنادا إلى فتوى سماحة السيد. So you cannot jump to fatwa سماحة السيد, okay, in the moon sighting issue. So you know that this year there's mukhalafa. this year. والبناء على كون هذا العام من موارد القطع بها استنادا إلى فتوى سماحة السيد باختلاف الآفاق في رؤية الهلال. So it says based on the fatwa of Sayyid al-Sistani Damadullah about the variety of horizons. Okay, each horizon, each country has its own horizon. من عدم الاجتزاء, it is not sufficient to stay with them wherever there is certainty in variances. والبناء على كون هذا العام من موارد, and to consider that this year is certainly there's certain variances. So you can't jump from Sayyid al-Khouei to Sayyid al-Sistani, who considers, Sayyid al-Khouei considers unity of horizon. Sayyid al-Sistani considers variety of horizon. وعلى ذلك, so based on that, فإن لمقلدي سماحته أن يرجع إلى فقيه آخر. So the follower of Sayyid al-Sistani, who has احتياط واجب, he can refer to another marja. But what is the criteria of another marja? Number one, next in line with Alamiyya. مع رعاية الأعلم فالأعلم. After Sayyid Sistani is next in line. Number one. Number two, يشترك في فتوى باختلاف الآفاق. He has same variety of horizon fatwa. So number one, next in line in Alamiyya. Number two, he has the same fatwa, variety of horizon. However, he doesn't have any ihtiyat to stay with the qawm, okay, even in the even if you have knowledge of certainty, even if you're certain that there's certain variances. I mean, there's a certainty in variances between the school of companion and between the follower of Sayyidi Sistani. Yaqeen bil mukhalafa. So he says that yeah. So number one, he can refer to another faqih. Next in line al-alami مع رعاية الأعلم فالأعلم. Okay, this faqih, he has similar fatwa of variety of horizon like Sayyid Sistani Damadullah. However, he doesn't have a precaution that the Hajj is not sufficient with the qawm, with the school of companion. في صورة القطع بالمخالفة. Okay, he doesn't have. بل يفتي بالاجتزاء أو بعدم الإجزاء. He has a fatwa, sufficient or not sufficient. He doesn't have obligatory precaution. So in this case, he can refer to this marja because he has the ruling of the moon sighting is similar to the ruling of the moon sighting of Sayyidi Sistani. And the second segment was if the change from taqlid of Sayyid al-Khouei to taqlid of Sayyidi Sistani was due to the equality in knowledge, okay, then he cannot go back to Sayyid al-Khouei. If they both were equal, according to his study and research with Ahl al-Khibra, this is Sayyid al-Khouei, Sayyidi Sistani, both are equal in knowledge, even though they have variances in the fatwa. So he said that if so the segment number 2 was من كان عدوله من السيد الخوي إلى سماحة السيد, whoever had referred from Sayyid al-Khouei to Sayyid Sistani Damadullah, with the criteria of equality, not that Sayyid Sistani is most knowledgeable, but he's equal in knowledge with Sayyid al-Khouei. Will it be possible for him to refer to Sayyid al-Khouei back again? Or he left Sayyid al-Khouei, he came to Sayyid Sistani, now he wants to go back to Sayyid al-Khouei. Because you consider whenever the mujtahideen are equal, then you said that you can choose any one of them. Okay. So so yes, من كان عدوله من السيد الخوئي قدس سره إلى سماحة السيد. Whoever did return, converted his taqlid, changed his taqlid from Sayyid al-Khou'i to Sayyid al-Sistani. But with what criteria? Did you find Sayyid al-Sistani a'lam, or they both are equal? No, 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 no. Not a'lami. Who am I to define a'lam? But I hear scholars and they say, so yes, so they both are equal to a'lamiyah. So equal in a'lamiyah. So the question is, can he to go to back to Sayyid al-Khou'i again, um, such as they both are equal? So he can choose either this or either this, or he cannot. He said, إذا كان عدل عن تقليد السيد الخوئي ولو بمناط مساواة الحي فليس له الرجوع مرة أخرى إلى تقليده. If he had referred from Sayyid al-Khou'i to Sayyid al-Sistani Damadullah, okay, and uh, even based on the criteria of equality, then he cannot go back to the deceased marja. This is all what we had to finish. Subhanallah. And then we have questions and answers about Muzdalifah. They are quite 30. But inshallah, we will try to cover as soon as possible, as clear as possible. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.